Now, the Ghana Police Service has placed 100,000 city bounty on the killers of the 9 persons in the Wa municipality in the last 5 months. This is to help the service get credible information that will lead to the arrest and prosecution of the perpetrators. This was contained in an update released by the Ghana Police Service a while ago. Now, in the statement, the police tried to talk of the investigation that is ongoing and the fact that they will get to the bottom of this matter, encouraging people with very credible information to release them to the police, leading to the arrest of these perpetrators, and to ensure that they are able to bring, beef up security in the metropolis. Remember that already 9 people have been killed, and one body was retrieved from a shallow pit at the end of last week. The police, with the Inspector General of Police himself, Dr. George Dampare, have been in the municipality trying to unravel the mystery behind the killings and to ensure that the perpetrators have been apprehended. That is what is leading the police service to this morning place 100,000 Ghana cedis on the persons behind these killings. Now, the details of the statement says the police continue to maintain law, order and security in Wa municipality and its environs. Suspect Kankane Adongo, who was arrested on 19th September 2022, is in custody, assisting with the investigations. Now, the police continues to say that analysis of intelligence gathered so far suggests that there may be more than one person involved in this heinous crime and will do whatever it takes to get them arrested to face justice. Now, meanwhile, the Special Purpose Intelligence and Investigation Team, as part of their surveillance during the night of 19 September 2022, recovered a body of a male adult at Bamahu. After the necessary crime scene examination, the body was removed and deposited at the Wa Regional Hospital awaiting autopsy. A pathologist from the police hospital is leading a team to Wa as part of investigation into the incident. We continue to urge anyone with credible information that will lead to the arrest and prosecution of the perpetrators to come forward and share with the police. In line with this, a reward of 100,000 Ghana cedis has been set aside for anyone who provides information in that regard. So that's the police statement there. Now, the Inspector General of Ghana Police Service, Dr. George Dampare, is in Wa to seek first-hand information from the people on the recent suspected murders in the Wa Township. 9 persons have been allegedly killed in the last 8 months, with 7 of them being private security men. JoyNews' Upper West Regional correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
The Inspector General of the Ghana Police Service, Dr. George Dampare, upon arrival in the Wa municipality, and after a whistle-stop visit to the Upper West Regional Police Command Headquarters and headed straight to the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council, where he met the Upper West Regional Minister, Dr. Hafiz bin Sali. The meeting, which was closed door, lasted for an hour. The IGP then went into town for a walkabout, interacted with some residents at Loro stations and by the roadside.
How dark is your place?
Very dark, very, very dark. No street lights, no nothing, no street lights. And I was going to, in fact, very
no street light, no nothing. There's no building for you to live in.
I'm to stay. But if I say nothing, at least you understand.
I understand.
Yes.
Because you are my teacher, so I understand.
Very well.
The overlord of the Walla traditional area, Navuseni said the people therefore in his meeting with the IGP did not mince words on the poor state of the region's security. The one-hour speech was articulated in a statement by his spokesperson, Nakadir Ibrahim.
When you realized the killings were getting one too many, you sent a team of investigators to support the criminal investigation department within the police service in the region. When again the police service in the region got overwhelmed by the increasing spate of killings, you sent more men to beef up the number of your men on the ground. Admittedly, however, upon hindsight, one can describe the actions not only as knee-jerk reactions, but also as too little, too late.
The World Overlord opined that the recent spate of murders has exposed the weakness and vulnerability of the country's security services.
The Upper West region, so close to the borders of the country, should have been adequately catered for in terms of security, particularly in these turbulent times. These killings have exposed our insecurity, our nakedness, and our vulnerability. Mr. IGP, this is a wake-up call. The Upper West region needs more permanent men on the ground immediately. This should be accompanied by adequate logistical support. We also expect a shake-up within the rank and file of men and women in the service who have overstayed their welcome in the Upper West region.
It was revealed that one suspect was arrested by a search party and handed over to the police. The winner in this case is calling on the police to do a thorough job in order to get to the bottom of the matter.
We got the news this afternoon about the arrest of one suspect, highly suspected by the people to be behind, if not all, but some of these atrocities that have been committed against us unduly.
The Inspector General of the Ghana Police Service, Dr. George Agovudampare, in an interaction with residents outside the palace, stated that despite the perception that the police were slow, they were up to the task.
So already every security agency is involved in this exercise we are doing. But as a lead agency, we take full command and responsibility and make sure that we deepen it to the level that will keep you so safe. That's why you could see all the motorbikes, all the personnel, and the undercover special intelligence teams, the undercover special investigation teams working day and night with most of you in the communities. Now some of you have seen some of them dressed as if they work in the market, as if they work at the shops, all towards getting to the bottom of this matter.
Dr. George Dampare said they are working on the quiet and with little noise, and hence the success.
If we are not committed, we will come have speeches and 3 seconds we are somewhere else. But because we are committed, we talk less. We want our work to speak for us. Because what the people want to hear is not talking. What the people want to hear is not casting insinuations. What they want to hear is that you've done your best to protect us. You've done your best to protect our properties. You've done your best to make our community safe for us to live our life. And that is what we are committed to.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
So let me take you back there, and Rafiq Salam joins us with the latest on this development. Rafiq, what more can you report on this?
Inspector of the Ghana Service morning continued walk about in town by visiting some communities. I started around a police station headed to the KDP area and a branch towards the left and the Dongo. So after that, it's expected to visit all 11 districts in the Upper West region.
But we understand another body has been discovered. What do you know about that?
We identified, but the information that we are getting is from the Specialized Intelligence Investigation Unit who are being in town. We are told that the went session around the Bamau area, and that's where this particular body was found. As you speak now, we are told that the body is currently at the Upper Hospital of where they are expected to photo.
Has that probably given an indication to the police as to when, where the bodies, the rest of the bodies could be buried?
I tried to speak to the team. They said, well, now they are not aware of this particular case. But they are still on the hunt. They are still coming around, and they believe that they will be able and to get all these persons that are suspected to have committed for restructured forces.
The youth in the area are also eager to help find a suspect. How is the relationship between the police and the youth in trying to get to the bottom of this?
For now, they are trying to review the relationship between the third party and then the police. And so, according to the youth party, the youth third party are saying that their best parties, they are not getting the best of cooperation from the police. And so, because of that, they have certain information to the items from the police. And so, for now, they have reviewed the relationship, and they think that going forward, they'll be able to do their best in order to unravel the mystery surrounding suspected killings in the one municipality.
All right, thank you so much. That's my colleague Rafik Salam there. Now, meanwhile, the Ghana Bar Association is also calling on the Ghana Police Service to intensify patrols and to place security checkpoint at vantage point of the township at night in the wake of the recent insecurity situation in the Wa municipality. According to them, this situation is very disturbing because it is happening at a time when the region has become very attractive to investors and public sector employees. Now, these were contained in a statement released by the Bar Association. It says that the attention of the Upper West chapter of the Ghana Bar Association has been drawn to a report of suspicious disappearance and killing of watchmen in Wa. It is very disturbing that this is happening at a time when the region has become very attractive to investors and public sector employees. The statement also says that going forward, we suggest the following. 1, landlords and or property owners who engage the services of these watchmen should provide decent and serene places for them while they are at work. 2, it is also advisable for officers to install CCTV cameras and also ensure at least 2 watchmen are at post each night. It continues with some of the suggestions going forward. Point 3, the police should encourage the formation of community watchdog groups to assist in the surveillance of the town in the night, as this would help curb crime and these dastardly act of killing watchmen. As the saying goes, policing is a collective responsibility of all of us, and the earlier we join hands to fight these cowardly and barbaric acts, the better for us all as a region and or a nation. So that's the statement there from the Ghana Bar Association. Released earlier today. So that's by the Upper West chapter of the Ghana Bar Association there. So that's it. You're still watching the news desk here on the JoyNews channel. Now, to other stories, Dr. Charles Reko-Brobe is recommending an alteration in the functions of the special prosecutor that automatically mandate him to prosecute offenders upon the release of the Auditor General's report. In a yet-to-be-aired interview with JoyNews ahead of the Bar Radio Memorial Lecture set for Thursday, 22nd September 2022, Chief Analyst at the Ghana Institute for Public Policy Options says the current arrangement makes it difficult for the country to deal with the rot associated with the Auditor General's report.
The current Auditor General has seen his predecessor completely handed out of office because he tried to do his job. And he has been, quote, the beneficiary of the way in which the other one was treated. And I think that, you know, he may not have the bravery to say that or to go down the same step that his predecessor went to. In fact, the very manner in which his predecessor was treated serves as a warning to him to say, look, watch your step. We are watching you, and if you come any close to trying to embarrass us, quote, you go the same way.
Are you suggesting Mr. Kwama may be very much shaken, afraid of the consequences of going down that road?
I'm not suggesting that at all. I mean, it's obvious that if somebody has been hounded out so that you've been given the brief, you're going to be very careful. I mean, he has been very professional in identifying all the malfeasance and the inappropriate use of money, but the action point, surcharge and disallow, he wouldn't go down that route, because if he did, he will be upsetting the very people, you know, whose previous actions put him in his current position. I think the functions of the special prosecutor should be altered so that the Auditor General's report automatically is, once it's been reviewed by Parliament, goes straight to the special prosecutor for them, in a sense, to look at it, investigate, and take the necessary action against anybody who, in the view of both the Auditor General and the Special Prosecutor, has infringed on the proper laws of procurement and other things, and therefore needs to be prosecuted and also to have the funds they've stolen restored to the public purse. I think that might be a way in which people might be able to see a bit of action, because I'm not sure that the current system is going to, you know, we've seen this now. Well, we get into the 30th year of the Fourth Republic, and we don't see very many.
We actually are in it. So 1992 to 20.
Well, 93. The Fourth Republic
more or less, yes, 93 starting
7th of January 1993. So maybe people should start thinking of that, of automatically giving the special prosecutor the power to, so that in tandem and in combination with the Auditor General, you know, they can work together and effect proper action.
To our living standards today, and diabetic patients are rationing insulin to hang on to their life following a weekly increase in insulin prices. Today's Living Standards series shares the story of Emanuela, a level 200 student of the University of Ghana, on her survival tips in a turbulent economy.
So sometimes I try to make it last longer. So instead of taking, I'm supposed to take 80 units. Instead of taking the 80 units, sometimes I take 12, so that at least it can last till.
Is your dad aware you're rationing your drugs?
No, he's not aware. I do know I was in a coma from September to November. Yeah, because my blood sugar was extremely high because I couldn't get access to the insulin at that particular moment.
Initially, prices were going up probably within 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, sometimes. Even a year, sometimes. But now we get price increments with every purchase we buy. So probably...
Emanuela, a type 1 diabetic, is in level 200 at the University of Ghana. She's back for the semester after recovering from a 3-month diabetic coma last year. She's now working hard to cope with academic work.
It's been extremely difficult because most often than not, my family is, especially my mom, is always calling me every single day, asking me about my health, whether I'm doing this or whether I'm taking my medications and all. And then my friends are always checking up on me. Anytime I'm on campus, I never walk alone. Yeah, they are always with me, and then they actually did take time to read about diabetes, to actually know about it. So they know what to do and what not to do when something does happen to me.
Insulin is very vital to her survival, but the price keeps increasing.
The medications are extremely expensive, and then they are not easily go everywhere. Yeah, you have to go to big pharmacies to be able to get most of the drugs that you need, and they are obviously expensive. Sometimes I have rationed my insulin to be able to make it extend longer than it would normally do, because of the fact that there might not be money to be able to buy. And there have been days where I have gone without taking insulin because there wasn't enough money, and due to the inflation, the prices have been hiking so frequently, because this month you'd go and buy the medicine. The next month or a week or two, you are going back to buy this very same medicine, and then the price has increased.
The National Health Insurance Scheme covers only one type of insulin, but it doesn't suit all conditions. The situation has forced some patients to buy out of pocket. Emanuela is one of such. The situation is unbearable for her parents, who are also taking care of her 4 siblings.
I have to get, so it means I buy at least twice a month and at most 3 times every month. And that's just for the long acting. Plus the rapid acting, it actually, I use the vial, which is less expensive. It's currently almost around 100 cedis now, which can take me for like a month to 2. So yeah, with that, oh God. Sometimes when I'm calling my dad for money to buy drugs, like I feel guilty, because I can see that he's spending way too much on me just to like make sure I'm able to like get my insulin and all. So sometimes I try to like make it last longer. So instead of taking, like I'm supposed to take 80 units, instead of taking the 80 units, sometimes I take like 12, so that at least it can last till.
Is your dad aware you're rationing your drugs?
No, he's not aware.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, because of the cost. Because sometimes when I do call, it takes a while before he's able to send money.
Emanuela fears if she defaults on taking her insulin and goes into coma again, she may not live.
If it's finished, I don't take anything. And it means that the likelihood of me getting DKA, that's hyperglycemia, is very high. And I honestly don't remember what happened, but then according to my friends, we were going to church. We were ordering a boat. And then, I passed out. And then they rushed me to the hospital. When I woke up, it was November. So I don't really remember much.
Okay.
Yeah, but then I do know I was in a coma from September to November. Yeah, because my blood sugar was extremely high because I couldn't get access to the insulin at that particular moment.
So how long did you starve yourself of insulin to get to that point?
It was roughly a day.
Pharmacies are struggling to maintain prices because the city is doing badly. At the Napson pharmacy, supervising pharmacist Nana Masichwa tells me that prices change every week.
Most, especially those on both oral and the injectable, end up using just one. Probably they'll prefer taking the orals, compare the price, take the oral, or take the injectable and then leave the oral out. And that's also a problem we are facing at the moment. Initially, prices were going up probably within 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, sometimes. Even a year, sometimes. But now we get price increments with every purchase we buy. So probably weekly, some even 3 days.
The prospects of lower insulin pricing seem dim given the existing economic circumstances. Emanuela, as well as numerous others who depend on insulin, are pleading with the government to subsidize the price of the medication so that they may continue to pay for it and live healthy lives.
The National Road Safety Authority says it is contemplating imposing restrictions on the movement of commercial minibuses to intracity services or routes not exceeding 40 kilometers. This, according to the authority, is to help reduce the avoidable road crashes that occur on Ghana's highways. This follows numerous complaints from road users, including the Ministry of National Security, on the incessant high speed and reckless overtaking by drivers of minibuses on major corridors, particularly the Kumasi-Accra Highway. Let's share with you the details of the regulatory alert released by the National Road Safety Authority. Now, per data It says categories of vehicles involved in crashes from 2018 to 2021. If you look at what's on the screen now, commercial vehicles contribute 37% of the number of crashes that have recorded from 2018 to 2021. Private cars constitute 42%. Cycles constitute 21%. Now, between the period 2018 to 2021, a total of 98,441 vehicles were involved in crashes. This comprised 36,798, representing 37.4% commercial vehicles, 41,247, representing 41.9% private vehicles, and 20,396, representing 20.7% cycles of all categories. From the figures above, out of the 36,798 commercial vehicles involved in crashes, 11,487 were minibuses, representing 31%, while the remaining 25,311 were other commercial vehicles, comprising buses, trucks, and taxis. Now, let's look at the percentage rankings of commercial vehicle types involved in crashes. Minibuses constituted 31.22%. Taxis represented 28.56%. Trucks represented 22.54%. Buses, that's the larger buses, represented 15.02%, and the other buses represented 2.67%. Now, let's hear from transport expert Cecil Gabra, who spoke on the AM show on this development.
The view that it's an opportunity to look at it again. Now, when it was being introduced, some of us said BRT is not going to work because we do not have segregated roads. Yeah. And it is true, we brought such buses, and then the buses are now trotros and so on, right? And that should be only in Accra. But then for these buses, this minibus, I'm really, really happy. And we need to emulate what Côte d'Ivoire is also doing. Côte d'Ivoire has got a system where those minibuses cannot drive, let's say, from Joy FM to Tema. They are limited. Okay, that is even less than 40 kilometers. But it's a step towards the right direction. As we have started, I do believe that the National Road Safety Authority, led by my very good friend, will have many more ideas, share with us, so that we all look at one thing, which is carnage, reducing the carnage on the roads.
All right, now let me go back to David. You mentioned you'll put some tracking systems or maybe suspend drivers who misbehave, revoke their licenses. How sure are we that it will work?
Yeah, so these are some of the mechanisms we have incorporated into the road traffic regulation and also in the National Road Safety Authority Act and the regulations. We have the mandate as an authority now to regulate the commercial public transport system. And there are standards that we all will periodically issue out in terms of directives and alert to these operators to comply with. Some are compliant. For example, the one we brought up a couple of months ago regarding group drivers for long distances, and most of them are compliant. We are monitoring those who are not. We are finding ways of issuing some sanctions against them. There are others about training their drivers, and we are monitoring that and issuing out the necessary sanctions and so on. So periodically, our data and our observations break out certain areas that need that we put our feet down and deal with it once and for all. This is what we are observed as regards this other business. And so in this 1 month, we're given, in fact, maximum 1 month. We are going to go on the ground to now observe their behavior.
Okay.
Mind you, this is a measure that has already been tried a couple of years ago. Toyota Hills used to be killing people and making them separately, and then we put these measures in place.
Now, imagine drinking water from a source polluted with human excreta. How bizarre, you may be asking. Well, that is the sad reality of the Densu River. Farmers and fish folks along the river are worried over the continuous pollution of the water body. The Ghana Water Company Limited raised similar alarms that many houses along the river bank were channeling their fecal matter into the river. According to fishermen, their harvest has dwindled in volumes owing to these activities along the river body. Michael Ashley visited the Wager area and its environs and our reports.
This is the Wager Dam, also called the River Densu. This is the largest source of water for the Ghana Water Company as it tries to make water available to millions of homes in the Greater Accra region. But that work is under threat. Many people are putting up their houses very close to this source of water, contaminating it with their sewage water as well. It's increasingly making it difficult for the Ghana Water Company to treat the water here. It tells us that it's now had to use millions of Ghana cedis to treat the same quantity of water because of the activities of not just encroachers, but individuals who are deliberately channeling their sewage water into the Densu. There's been attempts in the past to try to safeguard the sanctity of the water. The Forestry Commission, through the Ministry for Lands and Natural Resources, planted trees along the riverbank. But we understand many people have decided to cut them down to get access to the river. Again, there's been attempts from the Ghana Water Company to try and fish out individuals responsible for the illegal channeling of sewage into the river body, some of whom have faced court. But that doesn't seem to be enough. The Ghana Water Company is warning that should these activities not end as soon as possible, two things will happen. One is either you don't get enough water through your pipes, or two, you're going to have to pay more for the same quantity of water. Whilst the Ghana Water Company is concerned about the activities of individuals very close to the Wager River, it appears that more buildings continue to spring up, like the one that you see behind me, uncompleted, but works are still ongoing. The question is, how do these people get permit to build in a restricted area like this? At Joma, some fisher folks who grow their fish on the river are concerned over the continuous pollution of the water. Richard Amebo is a fish farmer.
We need to protect the water because when it's contaminated, the fishes will not survive in the water. They will all die and you lose all your money. So we are watching every angle that no one put anything, toilet or anything into the water so that we get a clean water and work here. You can see many women come here, they depend on us here to survive. Yes.
Richard is also secretary to the Landlords Association at Joma. He says they have earmarked a large portion of the riverbank to serve as a green belt to stop the further encroachment of the Densu riverbank. He says government must also come in to help their efforts.
I can say in the first place, we have a nice business here. But nowadays, it's not easy for us at all. You know, the Densu River is from Atiwa Forest, passes through the Densu in Sawam here. So the sources where they are coming from, what they are doing here is also impact of the affection of the water. And at times too, the galamsey they are doing, when you go to eastern region, that's it, a river enters into the Densu. And they are doing galamsey. So at the same time, it comes here. And the waterwise people, to when they treat their water to, the remainder is coming into the water. So you see that these days at all, we are not taking the business for granted at all. It's very hard for us to get something out of it.
They are hoping that something will be done about this as soon as possible. Else it won't just be doom for those who want water through their pipes, but also for fish farmers who work on the Densu River. For JoyNews, Michael Ashale.
This is News Desk on the JoyNews channel. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll have latest from the world of business for you. Stay with us.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The International Monetary Fund has appointed economist Dr. Leandro Medina as the new rep for Ghana. He's taken over from Dr. Tuna Mama, who has been in that position since October 2018. George Raffi takes a look at his immediate tasks.
Until his appointment, Mr. Medina was the senior economist in strategy, policy and review department at the macro policy division of the IMF, as well as the African department with focus on Mozambique and Ghana. For some, Mr. Medina is not new to the country, as he was part of previous missions, especially during Ghana's last program with the IMF. In terms of his understanding of the Ghanaian economy, that wouldn't be a challenge at all. Mr. Medina has already been in town for some brief informal engagements, but is officially expected to come in this week and start work immediately. His immediate priority will be how to help the IMF in putting together a program for Ghana in what is being described by many as a tough one. He will also coordinate affairs at the local level for the International Monetary Fund, acting as their local representative. Before joining the IMF, Mr. Medina worked as an international consultant at the Inter-American Development Bank, participating in portfolio review. The Argentine joined the IMF in 2011. He holds a doctorate in economics from the George Washington University in USA.
Meantime, the International Monetary Fund has fully backed its managing director's recent comments on Ghana's economic situation and the major drivers. The IMF boss, Kristalina Georgieva, told JoyNews Ghana's current economic challenges were not as a result of bad policies, but external factors such as COVID-19 and Russia's war on Ukraine. However, this drew criticisms from analysts and some politicians. But at a news conference in Washington, D.C., Gary Rice maintained that that Georgieva's comments were backed by data. In other news, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union has debunked claims that it would increase transport fares in the coming days. This comes after reports in the media indicated that transport fares will be increased by 30% effective September 30. According to General Secretary of the Union, Godfred Abobere, there will be no such increment. Speaking to Joy Business, he stated emphatically that his members prefer reduction of fuel prices to the increment of transport fares.
Union asserts that a lot of factors must be taken into account before embarking on any increment. Godfred Abubri, the union's general secretary, stated that its outfit is speaking with other sector stakeholders about the best course of action to protect its members.
It is not coming from us. When you say GPRTU, that information is not coming from us. The fact is that some particular group, which all of you as media men know, that they have come out on several grounds making that proclamations. They say they want to increase fares by a particular margin and even giving timelines. But in each case, they are, I don't want to say they are noise making, but they end up not being implementing what they said they would do. But in this case, GPRTU issued a statement yesterday that we are not part to that decision. Yes, we have a procedure which we normally do increase our fares. And that procedure is that we have about 6 or 7 factors that determine the running cost of commercial cars. So when we pick up those factors all around and tabulate their margins or their increments, and then we submit a report to the Ministry of Transport, then we'll follow up to a roundtable negotiation. And from that survey, we'll decide as to what margin can we increase our fares. And even when that is done, we give a date to implement, and then the media houses will then disseminate that information before the implementation takes place.
He maintained that members do not benefit from the increments in fuel prices, hence the need to push for a reduction.
From May, we increased fares, and the fuel margin was around 11.29. It moved to 12, moved to 13, and fuel moved up to 14.49. You never heard of any member or any union agitating for fare increment. It moved from the 14.49 back to 13.20. And now it has moved back to the 14.50. It doesn't make any change yet. So we are to do a survey with vis-a-vis the other components I just mentioned. And if lubricants have increased, if fare parts have increased, if the fees we pay to DVLA and then the insurance companies and the assemblies all have increased, then we have reason to submit a report and ask for fair increment. But as it stands, when you go around with your cameras to ask our drivers, they will prefer that we embark on a particular move to ask government to reduce fuel prices than simply going out for what? Fair increment. We don't benefit a lot from the fair increment.
The GPRTU is calling on government to take action to reduce the cost of petroleum products in the country.
Now, the Ghana Employers Association is urging the Bank of Ghana to implement an effective system to identify buyers and sellers of foreign currencies to enable them monitor their flow. This move, it believes, will help stabilize the exchange rate. According to Chief Executive Alex Wimpong, the central bank must find other means of fighting inflation rather than the inflation targeting framework, since raising the policy rate has increased lending rates significantly. Speaking to Joy Business, he said local businesses can no longer operate effectively due to the high inflationary environment and the cost of borrowing.
Well, businesses require a lot of financial support to grow their businesses. So when these policy rates go up, definitely it affects the cost of borrowing. And that is one major problem businesses face. So we may need to look at how businesses can be given preferential treatment in the way we borrow, because at the end of the day, when you borrow and you are able to expand and grow the business, you employ many people who pay taxes, customers, suppliers, banks, we all win together. So it is very, very important that we look at this borrowing to business, because if you are talking about even the Africa Continental Trade arrangement, if somebody is borrowing at 7% and you are borrowing at 25–30%, naturally your cost of doing business will be very high, and that will call into question your competitiveness. So I think the issue of the monetary policy rate vis-a-vis the cost of borrowing and all the other issues would border on the fact that businesses will require cheaper capital to expand and grow.
In the short term, is the association pushing for increment with respect to salaries and all?
Well, as businesses, I'm sure we are suffering even more than employees, because when employees require salary increase, it is the businesses that are going to respond. So if the business is not growing, if the business is stagnant, if the business is bleeding, I'm wondering how the business can survive enough to meet the changing needs of employees in a situation like this, where it is not through the fault of any employee. We are all in it together. So this calls for dialogue, negotiations, discussions, because without the survival of the business, I'm not sure employees can also survive. Yes, so we need to do a balancing act. That is the only way forward.
And that's all for business for now. Sports is coming up next. Do stay tuned.
Welcome back, and it's now time for us to bring you sports, and Lawrence is already in the studio. I'm glad he didn't come yesterday for us to talk about Kojo. Today we're talking about Black Stars, so we're not going back here. What's up?
You are aware we have a game against Brazil on Friday, right?
Yeah.
So yesterday the team opened their camp session in France. That's where they are camping. The game is in France, Le Havre.
You mean the Black Stars?
Yes, the Black Stars.
Okay.
Well, both Black Stars and then Brazil are camping in France.
Okay.
Because that's where the game will take place. So yesterday they opened camp with 24 players. And guess the players who were available. It's just like going to school on your first day. Indaki Williams and Harry Clampty.
Okay.
They were available on the first day of training. They held some good sessions. So far, as at this morning, it has an updated list because Richie Dufori has joined them in France. So the only players yet to join are Felix Afenajan, Mohamed Salisu, and then one other guy who is also yet to join them.
Okay.
So we have 25 players in camp at the moment. Bear in mind that Benjamin Tete was invited, but Benjamin Tete is injured, and there's not been any replacement yet. So aside Benjamin Tete and then the 3 others I'm talking about, everyone else is in camp.
Okay.
For Inaki Williams and Tariq Lamptey, it's the first time they are playing with the Black Stars. Remember, they were part of the 6 players who made themselves available to be called by Otuado for the upcoming international break.
So out of the 6, we've called 2.
We've called 5.
Okay.
And for the 5, 4 are available at the moment.
Okay.
It's just Mohamed Salis who is here to report. So Ambrosius is also around, if I miss it, and then there's Ransford Yeboah, who's also around. It's a good session so far. You know, if you really want to do well in Qatar, the game against Brazil should be a good test for the Black Stars. For Tuado, it's just like getting your players together, bonding them ahead of a crucial tournament. Remember that since the qualifiers over Nigeria in March, and then the African Cup of qualifiers first 2 games, he's not really had a good chance to test his team. But then the game against Brazil, you know, Brazil are 5 times champions of the world.
Yeah.
So if you play Brazil, not just Brazil, Nicaragua, there's Switzerland too to come. But then if you play Brazil, you are certain that with the star players, Neymar, Vinicius.
Fortunately, they are not coming with the second string side. They are coming with the full, and it makes it an exciting game to watch on Friday.
Even if you're a football fan, this is the kind of game you want to watch as a Black Star supporter, because you get to see Neymar come up against the likes of Tariq Lamptey or Denis Odoi and see Vinicius also in action. Brazil came with a whole, they came with the whole squad.
Because Casemiro is there.
Neymar,
the guy who went to Barca,
Rafinha, and your new boy Anthony
is also there.
I think the only
Fred
player
is also there.
Fred.
Yeah, Fred. Yeah.
Like Fred.
Yeah, Fred. He's an integral part of the team.
Fred is. Yeah. When it comes to Brazil, he is. Not to the other side. There's also.
Okay, so we have Partey.
Yes, Partey is.
Even now, Arsenal fans are saying that Arsenal is dead without Partey.
I'm hearing that the Arsenal technical, should I say, the doctors have reached out to the Black Stars technical team as to how to manage Thomas Partey, because there's this feel that when he's not around, the team is not gelling that much. And if you also want Thomas Partey available for the World Cup, then you need to manage him well. So they've reached out to him as well.
So in our midfield, I'm sure we'll be having Partey, we're having and then this guy, the guy who's on form now, Mohamed Kudus,
There's also Kofi in there.
Yes,
the boy that you are all proud that he's made it to the list from the Ghana Premier League.
Barnier is also there. Is he a striker or a midfielder?
He's a striker.
A striker, okay.
But he's not that kind of typical number.
Out and out striker, okay. So Jordan Ayew will be up front there, or he'll be brought into the midfield?
For now, it's too early to make a decision as to who will start again.
Oh, no, we're just talking about the players we have.
There's Semeyu, Anthony Semeyu, Bristol City. There's Inaki Williams, there's Jordan Ayew, there's Daniel Free-Banye. When we drop to the midfield, to the wing forwards, there's Kamaldeen Suleiman, there's Osman Bukari, another player who's been on form. There's Andre Ayew, there's
Kudus Mohamed.
Well, Kudus is he's more of a midfielder, so takes us to the midfield where there's Elisha Owusu as well. There's Daniel Kofi, and there's Baba Idrisu. So some of these players are coming into the squad after recovering from injury. The likes of Baba Idrisu, Thomas Partey, they came back from injury, and Elisha Owusu, they came back from injury over the weekend and played their first game of the season. Obviously not for Thomas because he had played before he got injured. So it's kind of giving them the fitness they need. A first training session. They should have a full house by close of today. And then we take the conversation forward.
Anyway, it will be exciting to see how the game will go on Friday. What time on Friday is the game being played?
6:30
p.m.
6:30 p.m.
Okay. So we'll be able to watch how our stars will perform against a giant like Brazil. You know, then it can give us the whether we will perform, because I remember we played Brazil in England. Is it in the run up to the 20?
It was 2011 where Kwarase was the star. Well, that game was shadowed by the presence of Ronaldinho, because he was making an appearance for the first time in over 10 months. So he was in there, and then you had all balls going to Kwarase, who didn't shy from saving them. He had a good game, and then I think that was where he won the hearts of Ghanaians. Because for him to come in, display such a wonderful performance against Ronaldinho and the likes, although we lost 1-0, it was a good positive for the team.
And Asamoah showed the world that he could score against any team. So
that was against England.
That was England. Okay, Brazil. He didn't score.
Yeah, he didn't
okay.
Score. You know the funny thing about this game. We are going into this game looking to score a first goal against Brazil because in the last 3 games
we haven't.
Oh,
okay.
And then we are also going into this game. The last 3 times that we've met, we've suffered a red card. So we are also going to show that we are much more disciplined than previous times.
Okay.
Yes,
right.
So we just need to.
So let's see how the game will go on Friday, and that's how we wrap up the bulletin today. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. Do you have a pleasant morning? My name is Samuel Kojo.